welcome to the Daily Convo with your host, Big Body, Bro Body, and your boy, Bonnet T. This is a weekly podcast with just two dudes being bros. Just a couple bros being guys. If you haven't figured it out by now, just a couple guys being dudes. So let go.
Come on, bruh. Come on, bruh. Hey, yo.
Hey, yeah.
Welcome to episode 2 of the Daily Convo. But we do this weekly though. But
it's a weekly daily thing.
So, ready or not, here we come. You can't hide. We're gonna talk to you.
Talking.
And do it slowly. I'm a fucking natural singer. It's insane. Welcome to the Daily Convo, everyone. Glad to have you. Today, we're talking about something very special. We're something. I mean, you want to tell them? You want to tell them?
I mean,
you want? Let me.
You want it? I can do. I'll tell.
So when.
All right. Well.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
Well then. Okay. Obviously.
Okay.
Well.
If
yep.
One of us. It's. I want to be a gentleman, and I'll let you say it.
I will be the gentleman here, okay, and allow myself to say it. It's a gentleman episode, baby. Talking all things gentleman. Basically, what it means to be a gentleman, what it means to act, speak, walk, talk, dress. What does it feel? What does it feel like?
I don't know if I want to feel a gentleman.
Feel like it.
I don't. I mean, here's the thing. We're going to go through our questionnaire, and I don't know if we're feeling the right thing when it comes to being a gentleman.
Oh, I'm feeling it.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm feeling it.
What exactly are you feeling exactly?
I tell you what I'm feeling.
Kind of like what you are.
I'm feeling Carl's Custom Creations when they make the freshest cups that you will ever see in the game. That's right. We're talking about our sponsors, our sponsor, Carl's Custom Creation, who made our very own Daily Convo cups that our big body robotic himself showcased to the world. But he can make anything at all. You got a sports team that you want some logos for.
Make me money?
Was that?
Can he make me money?
He can put money on the cup for you.
So he can put money on a cup and give it to me?
If that's what you want. I mean, you're paying for it. So yeah, whatever you would like.
Paying him for money? On
a cup. Yep. Carl's Custom Creations can make literally any kind of cups that you're looking for in the form of, the nice little thermal things. You know what I'm saying? Why have a plain Yeti with, nothing on it when you can have a fly-ass one with anything you want on it?
If you're a fan of the Seattle Supersonics and you want them back, you can put that on a Yeti for you.
Literally put on a Yeti.
On one side, the glove Gary Payton on the other side. Bro, holler at him for all your Seattle Supersonic needs.
And listen, I'm well aware that trying to be creative isn't everybody's thing. There's a lot of directions you can go. Mm-hmm. So what I would tell you to do is hit these links in the chat. It is Carl's Custom Creation. That's Customs with a K on his Facebook group as well on Instagram. And you will see all of the cups that he's done. He has up there our fan appreciation cups that he did for us last season and a bunch of other cups. Hit me up. I can fix Anyway, yeah, hit up his page and you'll see a lot of different things that he can do. So that'll give you your kind of creative juices flowing. But again, if you don't really know exactly what you want and you just want a general idea, hit him up. Carl's Custom Creation. That is my dad. as Pops, and we will actually have him on the show a little later to talk through, gentleman shit. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna sacrifice someone.
We're not sacrificing anybody.
What?
We talked about this. We are not sacrificing anybody, dude.
Bro, I got my dagger ready.
No living sacrifices on the show. That was my only stipulation when we started this. We did that last time. We're not doing that again. No living sacrifices. It just gets messy. People ask questions.
I have two gentleman-related things to already say. One, I got a comment that said, I want a cup that says I'm a gentleman, bitch. Carl can do it.
Carl can do it.
Okay. And then two is a quote from a book that I did not know existed until 14 seconds ago. And the quote from this book says, a gentleman does not assume it is the other person's responsibility to provide the condom. Doesn't kick off a show right. I don't know what does. You are not a gentleman if you're questioning this. Here's the thing. Neither am I. I don't believe in it. Anyway.
Before we get into business, what did you do this weekend, man?
Friday? Did we hang out Friday? I don't think I did anything Friday.
We went to Aurora, the hookah lounge.
Saturday went to Aurora Hookah Lounge.
That's right. What did we do Friday?
I don't think we did anything Friday. I'm willing to say that we might have just stayed in and played video games, bro.
No, had a date.
Happy hour. We had a work happy hour.
That's right.
I remember. Okay. God, man.
I dated myself.
Yeah. I don't remember my life anymore. Had a work happy hour at the Domain. Fun times. My bad for setting this work happy hour during South by Southwest. I'm showing my age that I don't give a shit. And it was great. Had dinner at North Italia. That was fantastic. But Saturday, we did go to this place called Aura Hookah Lounge. It used to be a different hookah lounge. It rebranded here in Austin. This place is the vibes. It's the dopest spot. I enjoy being there because it's like super chill, but like the people over the counter are friendly. They're awesome to talk to. The hookah itself is like prime time. My alter ego prime time Platinum Perkins would double platinum that.
Nobody knows who that is.
This is my wrestling persona. Going double platinum, baby. World champ. Okay. Take it over SmackDown. Great spot. What is your favorite hookah there, Juan?
Man, they do that leche hookah is just like out of this world.
The leche is my favorite, and the horchata.
Between that one and the horchata with pineapple and like something else in it for anyone in the Austin area. If you do go and you want to go and you hit it up, you ask for the Keisha number 1 and the Keisha number 3.
Keisha number 3 is like that.
Yeah, the 3 is the lychee. The number 1 is the horchata.
No, I'm sorry. No, we got.
Is it the other way around?
Other way. Okay. So first off, the lychee is not part of Keisha's special.
You're right.
Wonderful lady. The Keisha number 3 is the horchata. The number 1 is like a strawberry, kind of a fruity mix.
That's right. That's right.
But it's quality stuff. Sunday, went to our boy Alwyn's place because we feel bad for him. Honestly.
Yeah, he's got the kid.
First off, he told us to be there at 2. Then, like hours before, was like, "Oh, I messed up. Come at 4." Great. We're hungry. We want to eat. Came in at 4. Food wasn't ready for another like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
He made enough ribs for one person. And then 3 pieces of corn that was cut up. Great shit overall. No, it was fantastic. I just hope he hears me shitting on him right now. That's How was your weekend, dude?
Dude, it was bomb, man. Pretty much just, I'm trying to think what the hell I did. I mean, yeah, Saturday was hookah. During the day, I think I ran around errands and stuff.
bro, let me tell. Here's a gentleman conversation right here that I want to talk about. You went and were furniture shopping.
Yeah.
For patio furniture.
Yep.
Why the fuck is patio furniture so expensive?
Bruh. Patio furniture is stupidly expensive, bro.
Is this
stupidly expensive? I went to the name of the spot, I think it's called like Chair King Outdoors. And they have a store for those in Austin, out like in the Sunset Valley area, but I think they're like maybe global or at least United States. Bro, I'm looking at like this. I told this story to Bill. There's this like rocking chair, really comfortable, high back, cushion inside like a wicker thing, really, really dope. Went and like sat on it. I'm like, I want it. And I was like, I'm thinking in my backyard. I'm like, I could probably do 2, maybe 3. So I asked the lady, I'm like, hey, I don't see a price on this thing. Can I get a price? I kind of like to get maybe a couple of them if that's possible. And she's like, oh yeah. Actually, it's part of a set. Let me go see what the pricing is for, and I'll get back to you. I'm like, bet. Lady goes, runs the numbers, comes back, and she's like, okay, yeah. So this chair, it's like $1,500, but in the set, it's $1,400. So you get a little bit of a discount if you get it in the set. And I was like, a little bit of a discount. I didn't say that in my head. Everything in my head was like, are you outside your shit, lady? I just want the chair that's going to go outside that I will sit in approximately 5, maybe 6 times a year at best, if we're being honest. I'm not paying that much money. They had shit in there like more expensive than like my living room furniture. And like there was like a $3,000 couch, free outdoor shit. I'm like, nah, son. They missed me with that.
Clap.
Nice.
It doesn't show on the stream, unfortunately. I get that makes me sad to see. That's just like ridiculous, though.
Yeah, but that's just too much. That is entirely too much.
Does it like withstand the apocalypse?
It's supposed to. According to them, like the cushions and everything is supposed to withstand and withhold like direct sunlight and all this other shit. But like, my guy, like, nah.
I said the apocalypse.
Yeah, same thing. Sun, weather, temperature, apocalypse.
To some introverts, the sun is the apocalypse. So
exactly the same thing. If you're albino, the sun is the apocalypse.
One day it will be. Spread your ashes, don't get buried, you're gonna get erased. Anyway, today's episode is about being a gentleman. And the first question that I have to ask to you.
Hold that 1 second. I forgot to do one thing. I'm going to do this shout out now. Carl Custom Creations. I actually got some work for you, man. The guys at Aurora Hookah Lounge want to get with you to do a cup. So more on that to come. And I just felt like telling everybody that information. Just want to spread the news. Listen, if you guys got like a side hustle, like a business or anything you think the people want to know, we don't have a lot of people who watch, but we can get a lot of people with your help and you telling people about it. But tell us about your business and your side hustle, and we'll work for you, baby. We'll
Carl's Customs, his cups, can it embezzle money for me?
Don't know one way to find out. I mean, we can't talk about that because this goes public, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, yeah, maybe. Listen, that's between you and him. I ain't got nothing to do with it as long as I get 10%.
10%? We have to work on those rates.
Fine, 9.5. 9.5.
Cut you out.
That's what they cut me out. I'm heir to the throne, baby. You can't cut me out.
All right, until you get the throne, then we'll talk about money laundering. But
yeah, whatever. All right. See if you use Carl's Custom Creations for laundering without me getting a cut.
You're going to jail for me. Serving time, Carl. That's what. That's part of your Custom Creations is serving time for us.
Love it.
Pops, thank you for going to jail for us. So back to our regularly scheduled programming. To you, what does it mean to be a gentleman?
I actually have been thinking about this for a while since we kind of put this on, because I think it's a great question to ask people because it's always going to give you a different response. I think every person looks at this completely different.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Right? But the best way I can word it for me is a gentleman is a man who gets to a point in his life where he is doing his actions with consideration of him not being the priority. Where for me, being able to, if you're in a relationship with somebody, your spouse, your child, whatever that might be, that is your priority. You are making sure that your house is fed. You are making sure your house does not need. You are making sure that the things that they need to do, you are taking that responsibility of provider. Now, in my mind, you can't get to the point to where you are prioritizing the people around you until you have put yourself first to build yourself up. So I feel like it comes in stages. You have to get yourself prepared. You have to get yourself right and get yourself in that position. Now, me in my case, I don't have a family. I'm not married or anything like that. So for me, I still put the priority of the people around me into consideration when that time comes. So I make the time to show if somebody who I know is, your car breaks down or some shit, you need some help, I'm there. If you need a truck for something, I got the truck, take my truck, right? Whatever I can do to provide for people, because I got mine. I have my kingdom in order. I have these things around me now that are established, that I'm no longer needing to prioritize myself above everyone else. I can now take the seat back and now give to people, to give back to the community, to give back to the people that I care about, to show them, not so much as like a leadership piece, but to show what a strong man in this situation can do for the people that he cares about. So for me, that is how I would identify a gentleman: prioritizing those you care about over yourself.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
That's so weird. We're so in tune on this.
It's so
it's so crazy, man. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not too sweet in you.
The outsiders.
We're not doing that. We're not. We're inside. We're literally both sitting inside.
Outsiders. So what does it mean to be a gentleman? Like, first, it's doing the needful without a second thought, right? It's right. And that comes to like basic shit, by the way. And like from hygiene to going to work to small things like being on time, knowing what to say and what not to say. I think ultimately it's confidence, no matter if you're scared, if you're not scared, stepping in the limelight and being who you are without question, without second guessing yourself to other people in the room, but being considerate of others in the room.
Right.
We're probably going to touch on this later. I know we're going to touch on this later, but like certain things that I think make you a gentleman are that, like your confidence. So there was a brief period in time that I told the story to, that I jogged Juan's memory of about a week ago when we were at Aura. There was a point in time where, like in my 20s, we used to go downtown like every weekend, which I can't stay up past 10 now. And for the shits and giggles of it, we used to just wear button-ups, slacks, and a tie. And we just wanted to be fashionably there. Like I just wanted to show out like what I thought looked good. And maybe it looked wild and maybe it didn't. But the confidence that I had in doing that was garnering positive attention. And I guess that's where the word swag comes from.
Yeah.
I don't think that's like how loud you are, but it's how confident you are in who you are. Hopefully who you are isn't a piece of shit. Hopefully who you are is that of a person of maturity and class and is forward thinking, but is never really scared to ever step up to the plate, so to speak.
Yeah.
Funny enough, when we were at Aura, it just kind of dawned on me, like the perception of like what a man is we can only get so much from like our own gender, but like to women, like what does that mean? And I asked that lovely lady at Aura, Keisha, who is fantastic.
Keisha. Sorry, it came. I was holding that in the whole time. My apologies.
That's not gentlemanly behavior.
That's very gentlemanly behavior. Before we touch on the Keisha bit, to your point, right, of you know, how you carry yourself and stuff like that, and the kind of the things that fall in line. I think one thing that we kind of had this. We didn't have this exact conversation, but like it came up recently that I think another factor of being a gentleman is, to your point, like understanding how to carry yourself in kind of any situation.
Absolutely.
So I think a great example of, you know, you go out in public, right? Or here's exactly the conversation, right? So, you know, we were talking about Russell Westbrook the other day getting heckled and all that. And then the kind of conversation came up like, yeah, you should be able to hit these people if they step in line or to say some out of pocket shit, right? Like for me, that's the differentiation between a boy and a man. Because a boy is going to act emotionally and hear someone saying something I don't agree with. So my only way I can react to you is hitting you in your mouth.
Right. But here's the thing. And I think your pops would agree with this. There is a difference between being wild as shit and wanting to fight anybody that looks at you sideways,
right,
versus being a man. Imagine this. You're with your child. You're with your girl. And someone says something sideways to them. Disrespectfully shit. I think it's more out of line for you not to smack them than not. Like, I think that person needs to understand you're not gonna cross this person that I care about.
So here's where I see why that isn't. I see that's not the case because that's not thinking about the ramifications of your own actions and taking yourself first. Sure. So you're right. If you're out with your kids and some guy comes up to you, says some out of line shit to you, your girl, your kid, whatever, cool. You cock back, knock them the fuck out. Good on you. That guy now calls the police. That's now an assault. You can now go to jail for punching this guy in the face. Now you cannot take care of your family because you thought the right decision was to punch this grown man in the face because you cannot figure out another alternative other than punching somebody in the face because they said something that you can't control.
I said smacking him in the mouth. There's a clear difference.
Both are assault. Whether you punch him in the face or you smack him, right? It's the thinking about the like. Here's the only reason I know that there's a part of my dad that agrees with you, and then there's another part of my pops that won't agree with you because there's one thing he's always taught me: for every action, there's a reaction.
Sure.
Same with what that guy says, but your action, that person's action, and your reaction to punching him in the mouth can get your ass locked up. Now you're in jail over what? Because you couldn't take what someone who, one, doesn't know you, who's just talking to troll, to teach your kid this lesson of, listen, here's something you cannot control. Everybody the fuck else in this world. I cannot control what any person off the streets is going to come up to you and say. But what you can control is how you handle it and how you react, and understand every decision you make has a consequence. So there's two alternatives to that. I slap this guy in the face, he calls cops, go to jail. Or I slap this guy in the face, he's actually fucking crazy and pulls out a gun. Because not everybody lives in a safe part of town. Not everybody is just walking around and shit. Prime example, South by Southwest, fucking guy pulls out a gun in an argument, fucking goes shooting, and that was 3-4 days ago. So like, you do not know what you are agreeing just because he talks shit does not mean the smartest decision is to punch this man in the face because I think he deserves it. That's not thinking about your consequences before you do it.
Call me old school, but
there's a lot of dead old school people. Just gonna throw that out
there. A lot of that are alive too, champ. But here's the thing: like, I don't know of many. The gun part, sure, maybe you're right. maybe that could happen. I don't know that many people that's going to talk shit to you. I say talk shit, but like be very vulgar to you. Get hit for it and then go and call the cops.
Here's the thing: we're in a very much of a bitch society today.
We are in a bitch society. I won't disagree with you. I won't disagree with you on that. Every scenario is different. I'm not going to jump from A to Z. I'll scare the shit out of them.
Yeah, you can get as aggressive back as you want.
Continue. I just have to. Like I just have to. And it's
the line of doing an illegal act back to somebody is where you have to be smarter than that.
Who, Mr. Johnson? Who are you 100? Who are you hitting the 100 on?
Yeah, we need clarification of whose side of the fence you're on, and anyone listening, because I see Pops has been commenting. Whose argument are you with? Are you for punching someone in the face, not caring about the consequences? Okay, slapping them in the mouth.
These things are huge. It's gonna embarrass the shit out of you. It's on. And listen, logically, I agree with you. That is part of being a gentleman, where in that scenario, you have to be clear-headed enough to know. With that being said, shit, man, just don't. I just can't. I can't.
That's like, that is the maturity piece, right? Because that's the thing you have to think about the consequences.
Here, the other part is somebody talks shit to you, you walk away from it, and it's in front of your kid, or
it's a coaching moment.
Let's say it's in front of your kid.
Yep.
Your kid instinctively knows that, like, okay, walk away.
Yep.
Like walk away from standing up for yourself, which is not how I view the world. And we'll talk about that later in one of our last episodes, how we would talk to ourselves as kids.
Yep.
But if I have a son, if I have a daughter, that's not how I would go about things. You're going to stand up for yourself.
There's a difference. Okay, but see, you're talking two different things. Go on.
And then the other part is, listen, if you're dating someone or you're with a woman or whatever, and you walk away from that, now you're gonna have to deal with that at home. Mm-hmm. I don't know if some women would take that and not be resentful.
Okay.
Maybe your woman would be resentful towards that.
So let me ask you this question.
Why about me and you just walked away?
So let me ask you this question.
Like it's also for me where it's just like, I gotta say something to this person. I gotta like step up in this situation. Now, my ultimate result is, listen, I hope I don't have to smack you, but if this continues, you're gonna catch these toilet lid sized hands. Like it's just.
So here's the thing. Let me ask you this question. Why does standing up for yourself have to resort to violence?
I'm not saying that that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm saying,
so what's the point to where you come to violence? Because if I'm coaching my son, right, and I'm gonna coach it how I was coached. If you lay your hands on me, I'm going to treat you how you want to be treated, right? If you put hands to me, I will put hands to you. I will defend myself if I have to physically touch you because you physically touched me. I'm not going to be the initiator. And maybe this also boils into like, being a black man as well. Like we can't give reason to be the victim. We can't give reason to go to jail. We have to make it a true defense in the sense that I was always taught, I'm not touching you until you touch me first. You hit me, I'm hitting you back. However, in a way of defending myself, I don't have to make violence the first choice or the answer to defending myself. If you talk shit, I'll come to your face about it. We can talk it out. When I realize that you're incompetent and you're just not going to hear any other logic, I'm going to go on about my life. What do I tell my girl and my kid? It's a teaching moment. It's a coaching moment. I'm going to talk through it. And listen, I handle that the way I should have handled it. If you, my girl, think that my proper response was I should have hit him in the mouth, like the comment section says, she ain't the one. Because I'm not going to be with somebody if you think violence is how I have to solve this problem if somebody steps out of pocket. I didn't hear anything you just said.
I don't believe you.
Okay, why is it that you don't? Please, pray tell.
I am not saying for the, I think, 9th time now, that my resolution is to go from someone disrespects my child, my friend, my girl, whatever, that I'm going to instantly smack them.
So where's the point that you would smack them? Because smacking them is an option for you. So where does that line? Where is the line?
It absolutely is an option. If I step up to you and say, "Hey, what the fuck," and you're persisting, then I'm going to have a problem with it. Then I have.
So why couldn't you just walk away?
Pride.
And pride cometh before destruction.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty destructive.
Yeah, listen, you can be physically destructive. You can't outrun the judicial system. So again, pride cometh before destruction. Okay. If that's the thing, that's the shit that can easily be overcome.
Sure. For some people, yes. Like for me, it's just not going to. Like it's just, there is a respect factor there. And I can't let it. Can't let it walk away from them. There's been a lot of things I've walked away from. Trust me, if I didn't, I would probably be in jail. I'll probably be telling you right now. Well, no, there have been a few times where I've maybe smacked a person once or twice, but it was along those lines. Like someone said something, I told them, "Hey, don't do it," or I'm sorry, "Don't say it again." They said it again. They got smacked. Now this happened in my early 20s, but to me, I felt justified. I didn't hear it again.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a reinforcement to my thought, but that's happened maybe once. I do feel like it's something that's justified because you're saying something that is perverse about someone I care about to my face in front of others. Can't let it happen. You can say something about me. That's fine. I can walk away knowing that whatever, like you don't know me. And there's been plenty of situations where I've walked away from them. But in that one instance, no, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, this is not going to happen. And we can agree to disagree. It's totally fine.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, 100%. Because I think there is to that own story,
I don't
right? Like how you were when you were 20 is different. Like I can't say I thought like this in my 20s. Sure. When I was 20, I would have also been at a point where like I wish a motherfucker would give me an opportunity, right? To mouth off, to pop off and shit like that, right? But now I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm not at all at any point trying to fucking lay hands on this guy. Like I want to go home, motherfucker. You want to go home. Truth be told, niggas be crazy. Like I am not. I'm not trying to find you're crazy because yeah, like I don't want to find out who's really the one here, right? Like I fight dirty, but you might be classically trained. I don't want to figure that out. It's like I'm thinking my black asshole. Fuck that.
Listen, I don't disagree with you either. Like that to me, that's a positive alternative. Everybody just wants to go home.
Yep.
I've seen scenarios in which very recently someone got quite close to your face. Was to you?
Yeah.
I was more ready to take it to the next level than you were.
100%. But I needed him to touch me.
Friend that I would do that for. Now, was this person not in the right state of mind? They sure weren't. We all knew it.
Yeah.
And really, it was fine. It was really more funny than it was, we're going to get this person back. Like, it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, I see your point totally. I see everybody's point, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say like that's like if we're going to be honest though. I'm gonna say something controversial. I don't know how true to the word everyone is here, or you, if that situation happens.
You have evidence of how true it is.
But that was to yourself. That was to yourself. That was to you.
Listen, I am my number one fan. I love me more than I love most.
We do a lot of dumb shit for people we care about.
Yep. Oh, I agree. But I mean, so like to that, right? Like if I would I would defend myself because I've worked really hard on my image, my portrayal towards people, how people see me. To me, my image to people means a lot. If I'm not going to lose my shit over what somebody would say to me, I'm really not going to lose my shit over what somebody says about somebody else. Because as much as I care about everybody else in my own world, I'm still here. Everyone else is still here because I can't give to others if I don't have myself set. So
someone you love, like
I love my dad. I love my family or my parents.
Like it's mom and my dad. Is what I mean.
Yeah, because so like I guess in the sense of hierarchy, right? Like first will be myself. The people I love is coming under that. To that point, if I'm not going to lose my shit over something someone says to me and just spout the fuck off, I'm really not going to do it if somebody, because to your point, right? Somebody says some shit to me, right? You don't know me. You clearly don't know me at all if you're going to say some shit that's out of pocket.
The rarity of that actually happening out of the blue to either of us. It's not like
it's very rare.
The scariest human beings alive. Like, I'm 6'5" and I'm
much like
a fucking walking gorilla.
Much like Cecil mentioned earlier, as a large black man, there's just not a lot
it's just
really need to worry about, right? And same with yourself. But to that point, right? Like if someone's going to say something out of pocket to me, you clearly don't know me. You don't know me. To whatever you're saying can't be true. So now for somebody I meet to say something out of pocket about my dad, my mom, you, anyone who's watching, Yezi, Cecil, whoever, right? You really don't fucking know them. So how am I going to get ballistic when like you don't know these people, right? Like it would be a different situation, I think, if let's say, just throwing it out, right? You said something about Tom that was out of pocket. You know Tom. I know Tom. We know Tom. That would upset me if it was false. However, my action still wouldn't be to hit you. My action would be have a conversation about it. Like, defend yourself. Like, why do you say these things you think are true? What do you have to back it up? Let's talk through it. I think you're wrong. Because it would be a conversation. But at no point does, like, violence ever come to mind as, like, the answer, the solution to, regardless of what someone who fucking doesn't know these parties could possibly say. Because the words have no background.
I just want to say violence was not my first solution.
It's a solution. That's what brought the conversation.
A solution, yes.
For me, solution of violence only happens if you bring violence to the table. I will meet action for action.
First off, you ain't gonna meet my action.
Oh, I'm gonna meet your action, cuz.
That's a fact, fam. Put them 16 ounces on, and you gonna get handled.
See that? That's some.
Is that? Oh shit! Are those custom made? Are those? You got scopes on those?
You see that? You see them? That's the scopes.
What kind of ammo that thing takes? What kind of ammo?
45s.
Oh shit! Too sweet me.
I'm not doing that. Why would I sweet you? I'm not sweeting you, bro. I'm
not. Yeah, too sweet me.
Ain't nobody in here too sweeting nothing. Ain't nobody doing that. I'm not. Just because you finger touching the camera don't mean nothing.
I'm finger touching you.
That's kind of weird. That's no.
But like a gentleman.
Like a gentleman. Softly and with consent.
A soft too sweet.
You have to consent. I don't consent. I don't consent to be too sweeted.
Oh, you got sweeted. Oh, wild. Okay, so
back on track.
We clearly have a few women in the chat.
Couple of them.
Now, when we were at why is this us? So we did ask when we were at Aura a female's perspective, Keisha specifically.
Keisha smoking on Keisha.
We don't have her social security number, so don't worry about that.
I have her social security number.
Okay, well go ahead.
I'll share
it. And so we asked her, like, hey, to you, what defines a gentleman? Essentially, what it boiled down to, and I would love to hear the women in this comment section to comment.
That's Keisha social for anybody who wants to know.
Essentially, she said, to me, like a man has to have emotional maturity, emotional availability, but also like know what they want in life. There's a key difference between dealing with a person that is like hustling to make better than versus one that is, quite frankly, bullshitting and couch surfing. Clearly for you, or for her, she would feel on shaky grounds with someone who kind of doesn't have their shit together in so many words.
Yeah.
Kind of doesn't remember things about her, or doesn't take the time to, I don't know, get her flowers or get her something that she likes, that she kind of said in an off comment, which, I mean, as advice, I doubt anybody here needs this advice. If you're with a girl that you like, and she makes one sprout comment on the side that's like, oh, I really like this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt, whatever. We're all kids once. Get her that shirt one day. She'll fucking go ballistic. And it'll be a great night. So I thought that was a great perspective, because for me, and for one, when we were discussing it, like it came down to fashion, maturity, how you felt confident in yourself, the things that you did, but we never thought about like emotional maturity as being a key factor. So yeah, I was curious to see your thoughts on that one, and I was curious to the chat's thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I think that's she had a very interesting point with that, and I think that kind of falls in line with the same kind of idea and the vision that I have for like what it really means to be a gentleman. And you know, I shared that Instagram video with you, and if I can, I'll try to post it up on our Daily Convo Instagram page for those who want to follow. Shameless plug. It was this guy who was kind of explaining this interaction with his girl, and his girl kind of questioned you know, why he had this like folder on his computer with her name on it, and inside it was notes, which is like a bunch of notes, and he explained, and I thought it was very interesting, and I never thought of this approach, and it makes complete sense. And the guy was like, yeah, man, I take notes on interactions with my girl, on, you know, how she responds on bad days and how she responds on good days, and then how she responds when I get her XYZ thing. And within that, I start kind of formulating an idea and a picture of how to interact with her when she's having a, you know, a bad day, and figuring out what I know from my notes that will cheer her up. So when she's low, I'm not having to try to remember everything off the top of my head, that I can go back through my notes and see, okay, I know she likes this, I know she likes that, XYZ, and then it makes kind of this interesting collection of ideas. And for me, that is such a, you know, this is going to sound corny, but very gentlemanly approach of looking at your relationship and understanding how to take what you already do already. Like if you're already a notes person, a analytical person, taking that trait of your life and applying that to someone else you care about, to make sure that they feel safe in your presence, that they understand, you know, that you care enough. And yeah, it might be perceived as weird, but I guarantee you she won't see it as weird when she has a sad or tough day, and you know exactly how to pick her up and cheer her up out of it. So I just thought that was very interesting video.
On paper, it's fucking weird.
100%. 100%.
I commend the guy in knowing himself well enough to know I'm not good with memory. Like I'm not good.
Yeah. I got 1,000 other fucking things I'm thinking about. The last thing I'm remembering is what you do, like how you react when you're pissed off 2 weeks ago, and like how, you know, like I won't remember all these fucking things.
Which is a thing that, like, total side note, if you guys ever come across like an idea and it's one that you like, write it down. You have your phone next to you, put it in your notes section. With that being said, the thing that I would worry about, right, is would it upset her, and maybe I'm being too thoughtful about this, would it upset her to feel like she's almost being looked at as a as a formula or being broken down in an objective way, because it's like, oh, she likes X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
When this happens, do this. I don't know how people feel about being like analyzed in that way. But I do respect, like, that's effort to me at the end of the day. Like, no matter how, like,
because I think you have to accept your partner for how they are as a person, right? Like, if they are an analytical person, you can't, like, just because you don't like it, you're not going to change that about them. Like, that's that part of it you just got to accept. Like, if they're one of those people who plan a fucking vacation and they write a goddamn itinerary of everything we're doing to the hour, to the T, that's just in their blood, right? Like, so for him in that case, I would like to believe she knew this about him before they got serious enough for him to now create a notepad about the things that she liked, right? But like, for in a relationship, if that note piece is the thing that makes you, like, I feel like in kind of our jobs are the same way, right? How you get to your quota doesn't really matter as long as you hit. And in that case, in a relationship, how you get to make her happy and keep her happy and make sure that you are not fucking up shouldn't matter, as long as at the end of the day, the results are positive. So in their case, and same with any partner, if the results are great, then why are you upset how I get here? You might not like how I got here, but are you not happy? Are you now just looking for a reason to be upset? Do you just now want to be mad about it?
I murdered 3 people to get you these flowers. Are you not happy?
Are you not impressed? Do you
like,
not like flowers?
You care about?
You said you liked flowers.
I love you. She has to appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to ask this other than to say it. How long have you been a man?
Whoa, that's a great question. I think I have been a man as long as, here's a different way I can word that. I can officially say I started becoming a man the day the timer started, when I never had to ask my parents to bail me out of shit.
Right.
For me, that was when it became official, when there was no longer a moment when, like, I fucked up financially and I didn't have enough money to cover a bill or some shit, and I needed to call. I naturally, I would always exhaust every opportunity I had to try to square it off without having the scapegoat of, hey, mom, pops, can somebody help me with this? I'll pay you back, right? Like, as soon as I got to that moment, I think officially in my head, I was like, all my life, my birthday certification says man. Oh, that's fire. Well done. But yeah, for me, I think that was the moment, like when I was officially financially on my own. Because I mean, when I left for high school, I never went back home. I literally went home to visit. Like, I graduated high school, I went to college, I had a job during the summer. I never went back for a full summer vacation to stay home.
You left for college, not high school.
College, sorry. When I graduated high school, I left for college. But yeah, I never, at no point I went back. So I was always like figuring it out. And, you know, I feel like a whole nother episode, I think when we get to our 3-part episode on life, which that's a plug that none of y'all knew about until right now. I think I'll talk through that a little bit, but like, you know, having to grow up quick, being an only child, having 2 working parents, I was thrown into maturity a lot earlier. So there's a lot of things I had to pick up and learn kind of on my own. But for me, mandom started that last time I asked for money. And then moving into a financial part where I was like, all right, let me chill out and realize, like, living paycheck to paycheck is probably not the smartest idea. And let me trim back on my budget to financially be able to sustain myself and not have to worry about what happens if I only got $100 in my fucking banking account. I remember those days. I remember having negative money in my banking account and be like, I'm fine. I get paid in like a week. And like just making that shit work. And like finally getting out of that for me kind of put me at that position of, all right, now I am an adult. Now I am a man. Now I am holding my shit. because now I'm no longer in that position where I feel like I need someone else to sustain me or have that backup plan, you know?
Good. I honestly don't know how to answer that question. I mean, I read it. I remember I texted it to you and I just said it as a joke. It's just like, hey, are you a man? Honestly, if I'm looking at this like question objectively, I don't know. Like, I think there are different stages in my life of maturity towards being a man. I think like it's just an evolutionary process. Like, I want better for my life in my job. I want better for my life in my income situation. I want better for my life and how I'm perceived in my health. I want better for my life in certain areas, and I'm willing to take on those responsibilities. But if I could pinpoint it, I don't know. I mean, I sometimes feel like that's a thing for someone else to define, right? Like, if I have to tell you I'm a man, then, you know, if I
shouldn't have to speak it.
How important does that make me? Because
100%.
I shouldn't have to tell you that. And so it's, I remember being told, like in a way that I like, hey, like you're a man, like at least. So it was this girl that I was talking to, and she was drunk, and she was talking about somebody, and I remember it was like, oh, I mean, I hope you don't see me that way. She said, no, I see you as a man, like you're grown, you know.
Yeah. And
so that was probably the first time I heard that in my 20s, but I don't know if that's a thing that I can define for myself. I just don't. I think that's a thing for you to tell me. That's a thing for my friends to tell me, my family to tell me. There are moments where I think when they say, hey, I'm proud of you in something I've done, I think that is a way of calling me a man or justifying my decisions.
Right. Yeah, I think it is I think the title of man or grown, much like the definition of being a gentleman, right? It's gonna be different for everybody, right? So like, I think naturally over time you are forced into it. And then on the flip to that, there are some people who never get the opportunity to become a man or an adult or grown. Those are the people I feel the worst for. The ones who circumstances prevent them from ever having to mature, to grow the fuck up, to figure shit out on their own, to pay for things on their own, to actually be able to sustain themselves independently from some form of a source, right? Whether it be, I won't get into all of that, but like, I think.
What do you mean?
So like, I think there's a lot of people that like, I mean, I say a lot of people. There are some people out there that were gifted a trust fund that they never have to worry so much about money in that sense, where they grew up with the credit card or the silver spoon in their mouth. So a hard time is never anything that they can comprehend or grow out for. And this is again kind of leaning back to my own definition of it, right? Like being able to navigate yourself through a challenge, to be able to navigate yourself through shit not going to plan, and being able to figure out how you make it out of this. And my own mind is part of being a man. When shit doesn't go how you think it's going to go, and you're kind of left with this in your hand, right? How do you get out of this and keep your hands clean at the same time, right? I think there's people that I know that I associate with that can't, that don't, because they've never had to. When shit hits the fan, mommy, daddy comes in, throws money at the situation, fixed. Or you shit hits the fan, you fucked your car up, no big deal, here's a car. Or daddy knows a lawyer, dad's a judge, whatever it might be, right? That they bail you out of shit. Those are the people I worry about. If your parents pass, what the fuck do you do now? How do you function if your parents have still been parenting you well into your 30s, into your 40s, right? Like that for me is where they probably will never grow the fuck up, and it's going to be a lot harder in their life because they didn't take that challenge head on at a younger age to figure it out. I've got friends younger than me who took that venture into, you know, going out on their own, owning their own house, going into the having to fix all of the shit themselves, right? Like watching, you know, I've got people on here, and you know, I've said this a lot to my friend Yezi, man. I've been blown away of watching her maturity. Not saying she, you know, it's a bad segue into what I was just talking about in her. Not saying she was ever immature at all, but like watching that independence blossom, watching that I'm standing on my own 2 fucking feet and I'm owning this shit, even when things are hard, even when things aren't going to plan, figuring it the fuck out and executing, right? That's the shit, right? That I think identifies your adulthood, right? You in that same boat, right?
No, I meant to ask you if you don't mind putting her social security in the comments.
Okay, yeah. Let me throw her social in here. Hold on a second. This is it. Yeah, that's Yezi's social for anybody who needs it.
Go on.
But you know, I'll use you as an example.
She's so mature. She can handle this now.
She can handle it, guys. She has great credit. She can handle it. But like looking to like, you know, I'll take you for an example, right? Like there was your Dell days did not.
I was just thinking about that. I was going to say that next, but go on. I'm
right.
Sorry.
Your Dell days did not end in the way that you wanted it to. It wasn't necessarily a position where you were 100% set on leaving. The circumstances just kind of unfolded to the point where you're like, I got to get the fuck out of this thing, right? You hit the road to where there was no fork. It was a full-blown dead end. And you had to make that decision on leaving your comfort zone, going into something that you had no idea if this was going to be successful, no idea if this was going to work, and you took the leap to make it happen. That's a step that someone who is in a mature state of mind, who is prepared for the challenge, even if they don't think they are, is willing to take the step. Because a lot of scared people that you and I both know that still live in that bubble are too fucking scared to take the leap to try something different because they're so comfortable. And what you don't realize is you cannot grow if you do not become uncomfortable. If you stay comfortable, you can't. A great example for anyone who grows plants at all, if you start a plant off in a small pot and you never put this plant in a bigger pot, this fucker will not grow to its full potential. Same thing with our lives. If you aren't willing to get the fuck out of your pot and try something new, you will never be able to grow. You will never be able to mature. You'll never hit that next level of adulthood or manhood in this topic situation and actually be able to see what the fuck you're capable of. And we know a lot of people that refuse to do that.
So, two things I was going to highlight. Hopefully I can remember the other. The Dell thing.
Yeah.
I gotta touch on one major thing. And you'll agree. To me, being a man isn't saying, don't ever fucking help me. Don't talk to me. I got it. Like, that's not, it is absolutely okay to me, it is a man, like it is an adult trait to accept your flaw, to accept that you are not perfect. You do not know everything, and to ask for help, but not in the sense of shit, wanting to do like $500 today. No, it's Facts. I'm stuck at Dell. One, what the fuck do I do? All right, Nabil, get on LinkedIn, submit your resume. You got to try to work to have an interview, 2 interviews a week. I'm in 9 interviews later, like with a bunch of no's. And I'm like at the point of 2 brinks. One, giving up on this. And the second, just saying I quit at Dell. Like with no backup plan. I want to quit. There is a level of maturity there that said, that was Juan, that was like, hey, listen, I'm getting beat up by this. Juan came in, just said to me, hey, listen, think about this. I know you're not happy. You know you're leaving. at least have the financial security to take care of yourself, to stay there until someone says yes to you. I heard a lot of no's. I think part of being a man is persistence. I know it now because my life is flourishing in a professional sense, but it wouldn't be because I didn't ask for help when I needed it. It was just like it's just part of it. Like
100%.
You don't know everything. You don't know how to, like, your house breaks down in many different ways. Do you know how to fix it in every different way? No, the fuck you do not.
I literally called my dad when I was installing the lights above my island because 2 of them went flawlessly. The 3rd one did not. I didn't fucking know how to do it. So I literally called him on a fucking video chat and I was like, bro, I need like some jerry rig backwood country solution to fix this thing because I'm not spending more money to replace this whole thing. How do I do it? And, you know, to that point, I think this kind of goes into that next question that we're going to talk to. Surrounding yourself around people smarter than your fucking self is how you can make it, or just people who've experienced different things, right? Because I knew above anything, if anyone could figure out a quick solution that's not going to cost me a lot of money to fix it, I could call Pops because he would figure it out. And it was the simplest of shit. It was like it was this little bracket where I had to screw these things in. I didn't have a lot of clearance, and I couldn't figure out how to keep the screw from moving up and down from the bracket, and I needed to screw into it. Yeah. But Pops was like, have you thought about just putting some tape on the back of it to tape it down? No, I did not. Simple solution. Put some tape, solved it. No, easy. I was like, I didn't have to go to another store. I didn't have to do shit. Quick. But to that point, right, having the people around you that you trust to ask those questions when it's something that you don't have an answer for.
I think it's an answer that's really simplistic, but it's difficult to do in practice. And it goes to tell you one thing, right? This is my answer. It goes to the dumbest of people, the people who aren't the most book smart can find the highest amount of success by doing one thing, and that's applying yourself, trying, effort. Yeah. Applicability is like this unfathomable thing to some people of like, well, I don't know how to do X, Y, or Z. Okay, well, trying will get you one way of figuring it out, right? Yep. Like you'll figure out one way of maybe not getting it right or getting it right, but you have to apply yourself. I don't consider myself a person that is by any means smart, but I find quality success at my job because I'm willing to put in the hours. I'm willing to apply myself. I'm willing to find my resources, right? Like that's just, that goes for life as well.
Yeah.
Just try. For people, for yourself, for your job. 100%. The other thing I was going to mention was, and I think your dad could possibly relate to this, but a thing that I think would define a man or a gentleman is being a mastercraft, right? And I think I alluded to this.
Yeah.
So you have a hobby. I'll use my hobby, for example, Muay Thai. I love it. Like to me, I have put in thousands of hours at this one art, right? To learn how to defend myself because I love the sport. All these things to where I can call myself, to some degree, a mastercraft at it. I've been doing it since I was 18. Mm-hmm. But knowing how to be a mastercraft is a part of it. That's part of being a gentleman. For example, I would never go to my coach. I would never go to Kevin, who started 9 months, a year before me, and tell him he's doing something wrong. It's like you would never go to your professor and tell your professor he is wrong at teaching you math. Mm-hmm. Likewise, you would also not want to be brash in an underling's face and tell them, hey, you're wrong at X, Y, and Z. Fix it. Like you wouldn't say that. I wouldn't tell someone, hey, do you want to scratch your tonsils as your teeth get swallowed down your throat from getting punched in the face? I wouldn't. Thanks. Right? It's to me, being a man is knowing how to carry yourself in your mastercraft. And spreading your knowledge, in trying to help teach others. Right? And of course, that doesn't have to come from hobbies. It can come from life. It can come from job experience. It can come from fixing a house, how to MacGyver a situation. We're all master crafts of something. But it's the way how we carry ourselves is like that defining moment of like, yeah, I want to be under your learning tree. Or I gotta avoid this shit. I don't give a fuck what he knows.
Yeah.
So that was the other point that I want to hit on. I'm curious Dad's take on that.
Yeah, we'll ask him when we bring in, because I think I want to bring him in on when we get to the fashion piece of this. I'll shoot. So Pop, stay tuned. We're gonna shoot you a link here soon. But to that point, right? Like I think it's good to identify, and I think that goes into the classification of that mandem of kind of understanding.
I like mandem, by the way. That's
mandem's great. That just came off the tip of the lips. That mandem of kind of understanding your lane, your swim lane. What's your thing? Where do you hang your hat at the end of the day on where you feel that you are your strongest? You don't have to be the best at it. You don't have to be the ultimate supreme, right? Like, but like, what's the thing? Almost in the sense of like, where do you give back? Where's the thing that you feel you can help people with? And when I look to myself, like, I know a lot of people. I talk to a fuck ton of people about their whole life's problems and everything. And for me, being able to give back to people any form of advice from anything, or being able to bring my people up is kind of where, I look to say, like, this is my strong suit, right? Like, I want the absolute best for every single person that I have. If I got it, you got it. If I'm going out of town and somebody, or fuck it, if somebody needs a place to stay, you need to crash, I got rooms, come stay here. If you need a vehicle for a fucking week and I don't need to go anywhere, take my car, right? Like, I want to be able to help people, to give back to the people that I give a shit about, because that's the thing that matters to me. Is if I was in that situation, and in my life in several moments I've been in that situation where I needed other people to help me out, they were there. The least I can do is give back. And that's where I know I hang my hat. God has blessed me with a lot of things and a lot of resources and knowing a lot of people to do things. So I've always find myself, if people are like at wit's end with their job, I will fucking bend over backwards to talk to anybody I know who's fucking hiring to try to get you in or get you wherever the fuck you need to go to help you.
How do you not get frustrated when you're talking to the same person about the same thing, about their job over and over again? I.e., man, I really hate Dell. Like, I wish I could get out. And tell me you've not heard that conversation from just one person 48,000 times. How does that not drive you fucking up the wall?
2 reasons, all right?
And I don't understand how you don't know that you're maybe driving us up the wall with this shit.
Because, I mean...
Tori, I love you.
I'll I'm going to be honest, man. Like, every single person that I've helped to get a job somewhere, to get out, have been in that boat. I mean, how long did it take me to get you out of fucking Dell?
Yeah, wow.
So, like, I understand people on where they are, because what you're saying you want to do, right? When you're at a job for so long and you're ready to leave and you want to get the fuck out, that's an emotional conversation. You're over it. Emotionally, you're done, and emotionally, you want to get the fuck out of it. When it becomes a reality, on when you start to, like, when someone comes and meets your energy and was like, yeah, send me your resume, let's get the fuck out, I got you. Now it becomes scary because it becomes a reality. Now you start thinking about oh shit, I gotta bounce. Like, I actually have to figure out, am I going to be successful at this new role? The fear of failure is the thing that, like, you want to tell us what you're laughing about while I'm going on this rant of very serious point here? We'll stop. We'll let you just get the chuckles out, Mr. Laugh-a-lots, Mr. I can't be serious.
I'm so sorry.
Wow.
As I was going back,
you checked your phone. Yeah.
I checked my phone and I looked at the text I sent you earlier.
Wow. Not like I'm in the middle of, not like we're in the middle of a show whatsoever.
I was trying
Unbelievable.
I was itching. Just
Wow.
kept replaying over and over in my head. Hee-haw.
My co-host is a child, ladies and gentlemen, and I just want, if for anyone have not figured that out at this point, he's a grown baby, an absolute grown baby. To get back on point, before I was so rudely interrupted by Chuckles over there.
I'm very Jimmy Fallon. I'm sorry.
Very Jimmy Fallon here. Yeah, the fear that somebody has, and I had this conversation even, Yezi, when she was looking to make her jump, right? The fear of failure is the thing that keeps people from committing to change. You're in your current job, you are so locked in on you know it, right? That knowing something is very hard to leave. It's why some people stay in a fucking relationship forever that they know they shouldn't be in because it's comfortable. It just feels right. It doesn't feel like, why leave this thing that I know to go into the unknown? And the same concept, the same idea falls in line with the job, right? So when somebody comes to me and they tell me the first time that they're interested in leaving and want to leave a job, I am very well aware that they're probably not ready to leave. They're just emotionally speaking that they want to leave. So I was like, all right, listen, here's what you do. Give me a resume. I'll see who I know. But in the meantime, hit up LinkedIn, turn your shit on LinkedIn saying it's ready to get the fuck out, and just apply. You need to apply at least 2 times a day, every fucking day until you get a job. And the reality of the situation is they won't. And then in a month or 2 later, when something else happens to the job to trigger them, they're going to fucking hit me back up and be like, hey, I'm ready to leave. I'm like, cool. What do you need to do? Blah, 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 blah. It's so easy to just let that person go, to figure it out and hope they turn their page to become better. Not everybody's strong enough to actually do it. So for me, I'm a very patient person. I'll fucking, as many times as you ask me for help, I'll help you. Because as long as it's not putting extensive amount of work on my part, which it won't, because I can only do so much. You have to fucking want it. So I will give you all the resources in the world that I have to my disposal to help you out. But at the end of the fucking day, if you don't want it and you aren't ready, you won't do shit. So ask me 1,000 times and I will give you the same answer 1,000 times. And I'm hoping by the 1,000th time I tell you the same response, 2 things happen. Either you get pissed off at me that I'm only telling you the same fucking thing every damn time, or you actually start listening and you do it. And when that happens, that's when the breakthrough happens. And then you finally start applying and you fucking move on and you get it.
Sorry, the word hit me again. Sorry.
Unbelievable. You know what? We're going to get Pops into this. Pops, I'm about to send you an invite because this grown child here needs more adult supervision. And I just can't with this kid.
Are we waiting for this next question for your father?
Yeah. Oh, actually, I mean, we could ask this question and then I'll bring him in. So you can ask the next question. I whenever we went to it.
Like it's the next question is how do you sustain a gentleman's way of life, right? And
right.
It's pretty simple. I think it's simply wanting better and growth, right? And that's professionally, with your health, maturity, mentally, like you have to accept the fact that no matter how old you are, I think you're always going to have to learn some lesson. Like it just is. But you also have to want better for yourself. I think something I heard a long time ago that I think people are scared of is like, I'm in my 20s, I have to have like X, Y, and Z, and my 30s I have to have X, Y, and Z, and then everything has to be settled by my 40s. And it's like, it doesn't really work that way. Right?
Yeah,
like,
there's no book on life.
There's no book on life. Life isn't over when you're 50, by the way. You're still really young. But like, I think just wanting better for yourself and following that motto. But like, also when I say better for yourself, I mean, what's better for yourself is generally what's going to be better for others, right? Yeah. You can't pick anyone else up if you can't pick yourself up. I can't teach you how to walk if I'm not walking. And also that probably goes to a mastercraft type conversation. It's like, I can't tell you how to play football if I have never thrown a fucking football in a day in my life, right? Like,
right.
I mean, whatever. It's that's how I think that sustainability comes, is just constantly growing or wanting to grow.
Yeah. No, I think that's solid. For me, I think there's two parts, right? The first part is surrounding your really.
I'm sorry.
I just started.
So sorry.
I just started. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl's custom creation in the flesh, all the way from LA. What's
in the house
happening?
What's happening, boy? What's happening?
What a real man.
Man,
What's from his garage. I love it.
That's what I'm talking about. The man cave.
Got the motorcycle.
Hey.
Turn up.
What's up, Bob?
Do it.
So we're right in the middle. I don't know. I'm sure you're trying to get everything set up. We're right in the middle of answering the question, how do you sustain a gentleman's way of life? And Nabil gave his answer.
Both of you are talking.
Yeah, Nabil, don't talk.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me
see, this is old people in technology. Here. Yep. You got to mute one thing.
Yeah, I gotta mute the hold on a second. Let me
stream.
Mute this,
that's the perfect
Twitch
person reply, which is hold on.
Yeah, right.
Hold on. You gotta get close to the camera.
You gotta put your teeth in the camera. Hold on.
Hold on. He's never gonna come back.
Okay.
You good now? You Gucci? All right.
I think I'm good now.
You good now? So for me, the sustaining of a gentleman's life, it's two part. One is your support system, your support cast. You yourself, like you mentioned earlier, no one man you can't do it by yourself. There's a lot of things you don't understand. There's a lot of things you won't know. You need people with different specialties, different paths of life, different ways of achieving success to mold you in ways where you are weak, right? So for me, it's keeping a broad set of people around, including laughing, giggling. But do you need to just close your camera? Is that going to be the best? Just close your camera. Close your camera. You shut your camera down. There we go. Jesus Christ. I am sorry, people. I literally have an immature. God,
it just hits me in waves.
Yeah, just don't think about it. Don't check your text anyway. So that's one step, is having people around you to build you up. The other thing that I've always had this interesting conversation. I think the boys online, Salt, we've had this conversation before. There are stereotypical norms that men hold to be true that I think the second you can break that, you become better. And the example for that is, I think the idea or the notion that men don't cry or men don't show emotion is a weakness is such a far-fetched idea that I think the exact opposite. Yeah. It's so common for us to, and this comes kind of from an older generation of men don't cry. It's a sign of weakness to go see a psychiatrist. Therapy is not something of value. You can fix it up, just man up, right? These notions are things that cause these breakdowns, these depression, these things that you can't explain because you've never dealt with them. Emotions are natural. We laugh, we hurt, but crying's the emotion we can't experience. You got to let these things out, right? It's fine to experience that. It's fine to let that part of yourself shine because it shows the human nature of it. It shows that you are human. To hold that in and be like, I can't express this part of myself is the weakness. That's the weakness, that you feel you can't own a part of yourself that is natural, that you are forcing yourself to closet this part of yourself because you think you might be perceived as weak.
And in that sense, the era that I grew up in, that's the way men were taught to be men.
100%.
You don't cry, you man up, you fall down and skin your knee, you get up and put some dirt on it, and you keep on going, you know. But as I got older and kind of understanding my own emotions and things, you know, you might not see me crying in front of a bunch of people or something like that, but when I get off by myself, I'm probably boo-hooing in the corner with my thumb in my mouth, you know. But
right.
But you're right. You can't hold it in, because holding it in, it will cause a implosion. You will explode. Something will snap in you to where you have to let these emotions out. And you know, being perfectly honest, I could sit down and watch a movie, and I'm sitting there, you know, and watching a movie, and the next thing you know, it's like, you know,
you're like,
oh yeah, I got
God damn it.
Something got in my eye, you know.
Oh,
but
Iron Man,
yeah, you know,
Spider-Man.
it's this
right there with you.
Silliest little movie, you know. The family gets back together or something like that. But in actuality, you're not trying to say men can't feel like that. But I just look at it as that's just a part that God put in you, that tenderness towards human life and human people and beings and things like that. So, you know, it's gonna hit you. You know, you can't hold it in, you gotta let it out, you know, and that doesn't make you less of a man because you do that.
Yeah,
you know,
there's a comedian, Bill Burr, that has a whole bit that I laugh about every single time, and he goes, "You know what I'm mad about my girlfriend about? Because my girlfriend can see a puppy or like a cute pumpkin and just get emotional, like, oh my God, you're pumpkin." But a guy, no, fuck that. We gotta shove that emotion deep. We gotta choke on it. We gotta slam it down our own throat. We can't go on with. Yeah, but like that's it to the T, right? Like we've kind of just built there's this social norm through history that like you cry, you show emotion, you say something's cute, and in the back of your mind, you got your boys telling you, you're a fairy. You know, it's that weakness, man.
I do want to counter that with saying, like, I think the idea and the notion of that is like, well, you have to be a bedrock, right? Like, you have to show that you are strong for your family,
right?
And you have to set some example. I think that's where that notion comes from, and by no means.
Well, and that's what was in
the
men,
but
like, know.
Yeah.
Repeat that again.
That's what was instilled in, like I said, my generation. You're the man. You're the rock for the family. You can't be breaking down at a puppy and all of this, you know. You know, you're the man. You're supposed to be the strong one for the family. Let your wife and the kids cry. You know, you just hand them a tissue.
I think handling, you know, to that point, I think handling yourself in situations is where that becomes prevalent, right? Like if, you know, you're on a family vacation and the car breaks down, if the guy is crying, you all are in trouble, right? Like everybody, you're not gonna make it. It's just gonna be flat out. You're not gonna make it. So, but like, you know, in times of proper emotional exploration, right? Like then it makes sense, right? You know, you break a bone, it's fine to cry. You know, you somebody lost in your family, your dog dies. You know, these little things, like it's fine to show those emotions. Having the proper placement for the proper emotion, and not just, you know, I got a hangnail,
I got a flat tire.
Right.
Carl, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Has your, and it just kind of struck me as a question, has your definition of what a man is evolved from when you were in your 20s, 30s, and today?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I was 20s and you know, before I got married and all that, man, I was reckless, dude. I was a teenager with a job. You know, I was in the military as a teenager and even into my early 20s. So it was just, you know, party, here come the weekend. You know, I got a paycheck coming. Yeah, I want a dirt bike and I want to jump this ramp and all of this stuff. You know, I was just reckless, but kind of like the piggyback what Juan said earlier, when you come to a certain point in your life when it's like, okay, I got to take care of my bills. I got to do this. I got to do that on my own. you being more responsible is when it's kind of that turning point to where you're getting out of the childhood, because you can be in your 20s and be immature and childish like, and oh shoot, you know, mom, I need some money for this, need some money for that. But then at that certain point where, like he said, you get out on your own to where you're doing it for yourself. And it's like, you know what? I hadn't had to go to anybody this year for anything. I'm doing this on my own. Man, you know, you put the cape on, I'm a man, you know.
Yeah,
you know, so I think at that point, and I can't say exactly when it turned for me, but I think it does turn for you kind of when you get into your 20s, because as a teenager, once you get away from the house as a teenager, man, you're out there buck wild, man. I ain't got mama and daddy telling me what time I got to come in or go to bed or what I got to do with my money. And I got a little job and this and that. And I used to quit jobs, you know, before I got a family. I used to quit jobs because I didn't like working. You know, I just, man, I don't want to work here no more. I go find something else to do. But then it comes to that point, like, you know what? I don't care how late I partied that night. I got to get up and drag my butt in that next morning.
Yeah.
You know, but it does turn when you cross that threshold. I think when you actually start taking care of yourself financially, emotionally, physically, cleaning your house, cleaning your room, no matter what it is, you're doing all of this stuff on your own, then it kind of turns for you to realize, hey, you know what, I'm doing this.
So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Because I think this has turned for the worse for you. What does dressing like a gentleman mean? Because clearly it doesn't mean much to you if you're wearing that shirt.
Hey man,
no, we don't represent US.
We represent, baby.
We don't represent US. So like what, like, let me ask you, right? Like, what does dressing like a gentleman mean?
Well,
right? Like, what does that look like?
Well, what it looks like, one is you respect yourself, you know, and
you can't be wearing huge shorts.
Yeah, right. You know, you don't go to the casino and you know, cut off jeans and stuff like that, you know, because it's more or less respecting yourself and representing your family. Because you know, I try to tell them, these youngsters, like, hey man, when you go out here in these streets, people are seeing you, but they're also seeing your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, whoever they may know that's part of your family. And they're going to look and say, damn, they raised that boy like that. They let him go outside looking like that. You know, so I think being a man is not necessarily putting on a shirt and tie everywhere you go. But if you're going to, let's start from the bottom up, from your shoes. All right. Your whole man has an outfit just like a lady has an outfit. And it'll start off with your, you know, your shoes. And Juan even commented, I still remember it to this day. He came home from college one time and looked in my closet and said, there's no way a man should have that many pairs of shoes.
Now look at us.
I'm not going to lie. I don't think to date I have known a single individual to have more pair of shoes than my dad.
How many pairs of shoes do you have, Carl?
Bruh.
I have a container in my trailer still full of shoes. In the closet, they're stacking up now, you know. But it's like,
my brother,
not the type that I don't go shoe shopping. I'm not one of these people that, oh man, I need a new pair of tennis shoes. I need. It's just that it's like, okay, we're going on vacation or something. Like, okay, I want a nice pair of shoes, you know, a nice pair of tennis shoes, nice pair of dress shoes, or
and
whatever. Because
you know the ironic part about that is, the other day I looked into my closet. I got a lot of fucking shoes now.
There you go.
That's the ironic part about this. I own a lot of shoes.
It's like your different events that you go to as a man requires different attire, whether it's a buttoned up shirt, some jeans and nice shoes, or some, you know, some shorts and tennis shoes with a nice little sun shirt or whatever, you know, a nice hat or whatever. Different attire require different shoes, different events. So you don't want to go to an event like my dad used to tell me, you don't want to go outside looking like Hector's pup. You want to go out there, you know, I like to walk into a room, and to be honest, I want other ladies to look at me and be envious of my wife or whatever to sit there and say, damn, I wish I was with him. He looks nice. He's got on some nice cologne. He's got a nice shirt, nice pants, nice shoe. He looks nice. I wish I was her. That's what I want her to feel like when we go out somewhere. So I try to present myself whenever I go out in, you know, maybe not the best, but decent.
I kind of just defined it as like setting the standard for like how you want the best version of yourself to look, and do it with confidence. Again, I hearken back to an older story that I told about how Juan and I would go downtown, and we were the only two people in button-up shirts, slacks, and a tie on.
Yeah,
it was just raining. Like, it'd be raining, and we're still out fucking.
Yeah,
that tie was fly as fuck.
But
like,
but you know what? You get a lot of respect from people because of that.
Oh yeah.
If you went out somewhere in just a t-shirt and blue jeans and some old dirty tennis shoes or whatever, they ain't gonna pay you no mind. But you go out there, nice shirt, pants, some shoes, or nice tennis shoes or whatever, people gonna look at you differently. Like, man, this, you know, he could be somebody important.
If you dress like the sheeple, you blend in.
Yeah,
and that's never been the personality, you know.
Well, that's, and to me, that's like, I always think that you should just dress it, like fucking dress to the nines. Like, do it and be proud you're doing it. Like, if it's something that's a little bit different, wear it. Like, be happy to wear it.
Yeah.
To your point, like, we were at the Domain. I didn't recognize any other faces. However, there was this dude who parked in like a 1960s gray Porsche, came out, gray slacks, white button up, a gray blazer. I mean, I was like, this dude is sharp as shit right now. Like, I didn't recognize anybody else. I was like, there's like 100 people in here. I'm like,
and you remember that guy?
Absolutely, I still do. I'm like,
just because of what he had on, not because of the car, but what he had on. So, you know, it makes a statement about yourself when you go out looking nice. You know, even if you're just going, y'all just hanging out, going to the hookah bar or whatever, you know, it just makes a statement about yourself. It's like more of you care more about yourself and your appearance to the public.
100%.
Yeah,
no. It's kind of the same thing for me. It's the expression of yourself, going back to like, once you know who you are, step out in the way that you want to express yourself. And you know, I mean, there's tons of fashion, right? For me, the older I get, and kind of piggyback off the conversation that we had at the hookah lounge, right? We talked about, you know, how we used to step out wearing a tie and dress slacks and all this other things to kind of go out. And like, now we're a little older and we got a little more money in us, and now we've kind of converted to this like casual, like leisure wear, where it's like, yeah, it might look like I'm dressed down, but like, my outfit's like $500, $600, right? Like from shoes to shirt. Like, yeah, it might look like jeans, t-shirts, and some shoes, but like them shoes were $300, the shirts like $100. The jeans, you know, like you step up to your appearance to where I'm dressing now for the smaller percent of people who are aware.
Right.
Someone to see the shoes I'm wearing, I'm like, those are fire ass shoes. Yeah. Most people be like, this guy's just wearing tennis shoes and skirt and slide. You're like, no. No, I'm up here with this shit, because you don't realize how I'm stepping out, right? Like, you don't realize, like, no, this is a fit. But you tailor to it, right? It's about respecting yourself. And for me, like, to the guy who stepped out of the Porsche, right? I want to leave somewhere and be remembered.
Right.
Whether it be somebody like, oh damn, those shoes were fire that guy had on. Or like, yo, that was a nice shirt he had on, or whatever it might be. Like, I've always, let me rephrase that. I've never wanted to be the sloppy person in the room.
Yeah.
That's been the driving force of making sure that never, like, I want to dress nice. I want to be clean. I want to make sure what I have on hits, because I'd be damned I step out of the house and somebody like, yo, he wore that out, or like, yo, his shirt's kind of hanging off, his collar is all down, his pants is hanging off his ass.
I'll be honest with you, we would wear this shit sometimes, and like, we would sweat in it, but it's like, I'll be damned if it didn't look good.
Still looks fire. Didn't matter.
The other thing for me is like I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I gotta like the wrist is getting cold, right?
Yeah.
I'm now looking at watches. Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at watches that I don't think as many people would know, but like they would know it if they knew it. Right? Like,
exactly.
The watch guy would know what
no,
you're wearing.
not like he know that watch was fire.
Yeah.
He was like, man, that watch he got on there, that's
I mean, it's just like Yeezys, right? Like not everybody knows Yeezys.
Yeah.
But you step out in the sneakerhead will see that and be like, that's dope.
There's been so many times where we're at the club and like whatever, and some drunk dude's like, hey man, like your Yeezys, check them out. And then I'll put in his Yeezys.
Well, I'm not even into tennis shoe fans because I don't know what Yeezys are, but I did just buy a pair of Chuck Taylors, some black suede Chuck Taylors, and I brought me a new pair of Nikes. So
I'm talking about that.
So Pops, I gotta send you a link. Remind me to send you a link. So Taft, T-A-F-T.
I get their text messages. I
got a pair at the when you come down. I'll show you these pair. Fly as shit.
Okay. For those who don't know, the next just go back to the watch thing. There's a watch that I keep brand I keep looking at. Mm-hmm. So at first it was like I kind of want a Rolex. Like that's just what I want. As I started digging deeper, I'm like, okay, it's super pricey, but it's hard to get, and then it's super recognizable. I'm starting to look at this thing called a Vacheron Constantine. Check it out, and you would to those that know would know. Yes, it is. It is a little yes.
I gotta sell some more cups.
You gotta sell a couple more cups.
But I mean, for me to know that I have it on, that is again, high fashion. Yeah. And I love the idea of carrying myself that way.
Pinkies to the moon.
Pinkies to the air. But for me, that's the next step, right? Like the shoe game's covered, jeans, shirts.
But it's you work, you make your money, you know what you can afford, and you feel good wearing it. But you, like Juan said, when you walk into a room, you want to leave an impression. You don't want to. I don't want to be the movie star that walk in the room, but when I walk in there, I want you to take, hey, damn, that's some nice shoes he got. Oh, that's some nice pants. That's a nice shirt. So it's all in, for yourself. For sure. Some people aren't into clothes, and that's cool. Just
hopefully you wear them if you're not at least into them. Hopefully,
100%. I mean, the next phase is, listen, I need to get my car game up. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been looking at, I need to get to that next tier of money, so then I can get that second car just to done.
You mean so you can get me my car, right?
I got to get mine. Listen.
Okay.
How busted would I be? Right? Like if I got my parents a fly ass car, and I'm still rocking the 2016 Ford F-150. It's a great truck. It's paid off. Great truck. Yeah. But I need the.
Hey, do you, man? Do you?
I need the Olympic
Prius,
that Audi,
the Prius, that electric Prius,
Fiesta. That.
Yeah. All right, Pops.
I'm gonna leave this next segment to you, and I'm probably gonna mute out and grab something to eat.
Wow,
you might not want to miss this.
A show.
You might not want to miss this. At least
hang up. Host.
Look,
wow. Out. He's a jerk. All right, Pops.
But he can still see me, though, right?
Oh yeah, everybody can see. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he can see. This jerk. You're muted, so all of the words you're saying right now is nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
Blah, blah.
Unbelievable. All right, man. So
I was muted. That's what
it mute. It's so weird. It's so weird I was muted. All right, Pops. So this next kind of part is why I wanted to bring you on, man. So my idea of gentleman manliness, right? I to be honest, kind of festered from TV, from society, a little from you, right? But for me, it was funny when I went to college. I had a goal, which was so weird because my goal in college was if I could get to a point where I could drink whiskey straight, or if I could drink whiskey on the rocks, for me, that was such an ideal man of a man drinks whiskey straight on the rocks, whatever it is, right? So my question to you, now that we are a whiskey a pairsome here, right?
Yeah.
What are some of your whiskeys, man, that you sip on? What's kind of your go-tos?
I'm so glad that you brought me in for this, because I have not really turned to say into a connoisseur of whiskey. Right. Bourbon's on my drink, but I have dabbled in a few, and knowing ahead of time that I was going to be called for this segment, I prepared a little display here.
Oh, get money. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Let me get this into the picture here.
Oh, that's okay. In there. You got a little bottle. Was that Elijah Craig up in the front?
Yeah. I got quite a few bourbons that I like, and I'm gonna start over here on this cognac.
Be careful
side,
not to break anything now.
Because I'm a cognac kind of. Yeah, I'm trying not to break nothing.
Right. That'd be a terrible
as
show.
you can see it here, and I'll bring it a little closer. My son gave me this for Christmas, and it's full of Hennessy. I even had to put the Hennessy. Carl Custom Creations, put the Hennessy letters on there.
Love that. Yeah, that turned out nice, man.
It stays full of Hennessy, and everybody came over for something we had, and they loved it.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome,
now,
man.
Another one of my favorites is Douce. If y'all are familiar with Douce cognac.
Douce, yeah, man. I got to get me a bottle of that.
Yes, you definitely need to get a bottle of this. And this one was given to me, and I'm waiting to break this out at Christmas. It is a gold bottle of Hennessy special edition.
Oh shit!
That's a special edition that they make for Christmas time.
Look at that.
Yeah,
I'm here for that.
Okay, now that's my cognacs.
Right.
And we'll get over here to my bourbons. Now,
Burbs.
I really dig Jefferson Reserve.
Jefferson Reserve's not bad. Yeah, I think I was sipping on a little of that last week.
You were.
Yeah.
I've been sipping on it, and then when you popped it up on your show, I said, man, I got to go get another bottle. So Elijah Craig.
That's a hit.
It's a hit. And this one snuck up on me. A partner of mine turned me on to this, and we were sipping that like it was water. And then it creeped up on me to where I had to come home and take a nap.
Yeah, that'll hit you. That'll hit you pretty quick.
Yeah. Now, my son turned me on to this when last time I was in Austin, some Basil Hayes.
The paper shirt.
The paper shirt, yes, sir. Now, this one here, a partner of mine turned me on to, is don't play it cheap, because it is really good. Woodford's Reserve.
Woodford's is nice. I got a bottle downstairs.
It's really nice. And
man.
Now, to my number one.
Yeah.
And I told you about it. Heaven Hill.
Yeah, you did tell me about that one.
Heaven Hill.
That was nice.
It's a 7-year-old bourbon. And it is good, and it is smooth. And I drink mine on the rocks, with straight up on the rocks. Now, I'm gonna tell you how you can be fooled by some bourbons, because I was always taught, look for old age in bourbons. That they age a long time and they're really good. Now I have this bottle here, and which is my second one, because when I got the first one, called Dickles bourbon. Found it at Costco's. Got 8-year bourbon on it for $29 a bottle at Costco's. When I seen it, I'm like,
bad.
Oh, 8-year, gotta try it. Tastes like crap. This is what you serve your friends when they just coming over to drink.
Facts. I got a trick for that. I got a little trick for that. I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay. But it does not taste well at all. And then I have to get up for this one, because this is my kind of, when I'm sitting around here working on cups and I just want a little shot of something, I got to go over here to my freezer real quick.
All right.
I keep this one in the freezer. This is my old reliable ice cold Maker's Mark.
That's common. That's the baseline.
This is shot whiskey here. This is shot bourbon out the freezer.
I got a bottle downstairs, so when people come over, they want to drink. Like, here's some of that. If I'm gonna make an old fashioned, here's some of that. And I ain't using them the good shit.
And this one's waiting for you to come here.
Ooh.
This has been in the freezer for, I don't even know how long it's been in there waiting on.
So let me tell the people who are watching the show about Hennessy White. What he just showed is Hennessy Pure White. Hennessy Pure White is not sold in the United States at all.
No.
You can only get Hennessy White literally every place but the United States. If you get it sent to you in the United States, it's like $300-400, if not more, for it.
You can get it on cruise ships. That's how I've gotten all of mine. Somebody that I know went on a cruise ship and bought a case, bought 6 or 7 bottles, and then come back to you and give them to you at cost, which is like 60. I think it's even going up now because people are buying them more.
Yeah.
But last guy I know, he bought a case, so he gave me a bottle at cost, which that's the one in the freezer, and I'm waiting on Juan. When he gets out here to LA, we'll crack it. But speaking of bourbons,
go ahead.
This is mine here. It says, bourbon goes in, wisdom comes out.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a Carl Custom Creations cup.
I love that. I love that.
Bourbon with a little slice of orange.
So like that. So not only cruise ships can you get Hennessy White, Pure White, if you go to like a vacation to a Caribbean island, you go to anywhere the Caribbeans, the Jamaica or anything like that, you can buy it there and then bring it back. But it is not sold in the United States. Probably the best Hennessy I've ever had in my entire life. It is.
Is it bourbon that you need to just sip on and enjoy and relax?
I do normally when I'm smoking a cigar. I've got some bourbon, and but I always like mine on ice. I just like it cold. Sure. And once it starts to get watered down, you pour in more bourbon. So
the reality is, like bourbon, tequila, rum, all are they're sipping versions of it, right? Now, if you're a gangster as shit, there's vodkas that you can, like. I'm not on that level. I'm not. I can't do vodka like that. But tequilas. There's some high end tequilas that are sipping tequilas. There are high end bourbons naturally that are just good. And I took a trip to San Juan this past year, and a few of our friends went, and we did a mixology class. And the guy told us, he's like, if you're buying a bottle, if you're curious on what's a sipping alcohol versus a mixing alcohol, if it has a cork top, it is designed to be a sipper. Yep. If it has a twist top, it is meant to be a mixed alcohol. So that's kind of a good way of determining what's worth mixing and sipping. However, you're bougie enough, you can mix with a cork and be fine. Like
I want to get to a question that I had asked you.
Go ahead.
And I think it's about whiskey. What it was. Really, really expensive whiskey. Mm-hmm. If you bought, that's something that you would sip, right?
Yeah. So a great example of that, right? Like, so today I'm sipping on a bottle of 1792 that was a gift. A gift somebody got me, which is really a small batch, really, really good. What I got in yesterday, I don't think Patrick Escobar is watching right now, but I got in a bottle. I literally, so there's a Facebook group, multiple different whiskey Facebook groups you can get on to try to track down some hard to finds. I got a bottle of Blanton's. For those who aren't familiar with Blanton's, Blanton's is a whiskey family that makes small batches of really good whiskeys. A bottle of Blanton's is hard to find at a whiskey store, or a whiskey store, at a liquor store, anywhere. You usually have to know the owner and they kind of tell you about it, or in this case, someone who knows somebody who can get you a bottle. And he was able to get me. It's about $100 a bottle on a cheap end. Going through other routes, it'll cost a little more, but Blanton's, Booker's, Baker's, the family, the B family, they make all of these bourbons, but Blanton's is a high-end bourbon that is just so smooth. The other elusive, even harder one that I love that I'm still trying to get a bottle of is called Pappy's Van Winkle. Pappy's Van Winkle. Yeah, so Pappy. What's that?
How much are those?
So retail Pappy's, if you can get Pappy's straight from the source, which is virtually impossible, is about $60 a bottle. No, you're never going to find it for $60 a bottle. You will not, because The catch with Pappy's makes found once in a while.
Should have bought a lottery ticket that day too.
Facts. That's 100% right, Aaron. So the catch with Pappy's, they only make so many. They probably produce maybe 2 barrels a year, and they will bottle that in pretty much most liquor stores. If they get a shipment of Pappy's in, it's 1 bottle, and it's going to go to like a top buyer in their store. There's a whole list, and we'll get Patrick Escobar on at some point in the episode to kind of talk into it, because Patrick, as well as Aaron, who's commenting now in our chat, her husband Mike, they're like locked into a lot of these liquor store guys, and if you are a person who is interested in kind of like getting into whiskeys, go to your local liquor store, get in buddies with the owners and the people who work there, because they'll let you know when they get these shipments in. I digress. Pappy's makes a small amount. They'll sell them to the store at 60. They will resell anywhere between 300 to 400 probably in the store. If you buy them from someone else who's reselling it, which is where most anyone else will be able to consume it, it's going to run you about $1,600 in order to buy a bottle of Pappy's.
So here's the question that I'm getting to, and I'm just curious as to both your opinion. You buy a Pappy's, and your friend comes over, you pour them from it.
No.
Let's just say this.
I'll stop you right there.
Let's say this person breaks. You pour them, and they look at you and they're like, "Thank you," and chug it, and then just give it right back to you. How, like, Carl? How mad are you getting?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, something like that is like reserved for really special friends or family. Now, Juan come over, he can turn the damn bottle up if he wants. But if other friends I got to come over, they might get this stuff, you know. But then
Hold on one second.
Got something that me and him drank my Heavenly Hill, you know.
So the question then turns back to, let's say that okay friend chugs that really expensive whiskey. Are you getting upset at them?
No. It's because if you do that, you shouldn't have gave it to him in the first place. Now, I mean, not knowing he was going to do that, but if he just takes the shot and just, you know, and sticking his glass out for another one, you just kind of like got to divert him on the, like, hey man, I want you to try this.
Yeah.
You know, divert him off to something else. But
what is
I try not to get upset over that.
What is the like highest end glass of whiskey or bourbon you have ever had in your life? What was that experience like?
It's smooth. It was really smooth. And I didn't have it. I didn't own it. We was at a friend's house down in Oceanside. Matter of fact, he's the president of our motorcycle club now. He has a lot of high-end whiskeys because he's got it like that. Okay. So we sat there and he cracked the bottle open and we drank that thing and it was just like smooth and like, whew, man, that was good.
Can you tell the difference between?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, as soon as you tap into it, you can 100%. The best experience I've had, Denver, Colorado. There's a bar called Whiskey Bar. We go to Denver and it's me and my friend Lindsay. We're there for the Super Bowl, oddly enough. Like Super Bowl's not there, but we're just in there for Super Bowl weekend. I think it was a friend's birthday. That's why we were there. Anyway, we go into this bar. We end up in this bar like 3 days out of the 5 days we were there. We end up like talking to the guy who owns the bar, who lives above the bar. And I start telling him how, like, you know, I love whiskey, and I'm complimenting like all the selections and stuff that he has there. And he's talking about how like they send a guy to to the Maker's Mark actual distillery and hand select a barrel and bring it to that bar, and they bottle it. You will never get that whiskey anywhere else but in that bar. So like we hit it off, and like the third day we're there, the guy just starts like letting me sample shit for free because we keep coming back. So that's where I tried Pappy's for the first time for free, Blanton's for the first time, for all these high-end whiskeys. I just get to see guys just pour me samples, like try this.
You know,
I got tore up.
when I knew and I'm like, okay, he's done graduated to a higher level than I am. He was off somewhere out of state, and he sends me a picture of a I don't know if it was bourbon or whiskey.
It was Pappy's. It was the Pappy's 12
with
year.
the shot glass there. And he's like, yeah, Pops. He said, we're up here doing shots. And I'm like, really? I'm like, what is that? And he showed me. And I said, well, what does that cost? He said, it's about $60 a shot. And I'm like, that's way above my league. And I said, well, what does a bottle cost? He said, Pop, it's the kind of place that if you got to ask, you can't afford it. I said, you ain't got to worry about me up in
so that exact time we were in Richmond, Virginia, and and if we ever go back, I'm taking you to this spot. So this spot is like a whiskey like safe vault. They have a whole nother building that they store all of their whiskeys like that are high end in a literally full vault safe lock because they have some expensive shit there. And like, I just started my current job. I'm hitting, so I had the money. The money, wasn't a thing. So I went there. I was like, let me try the Pappy's, right? Like, let me get it back because they had like original Pappy's, 12 year, 25 year. They had all these different versions. And the guy like brought out, like I brought the original, and he was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, my favorite is probably the 12 year. He's like, I won't even charge you for the 12 year. Let me bring it out and let you try it. So then he brought me out the 12 year, and I got to sample it, and it might be the best. So that's when I just kept sending you these snaps. So like all this, I was like, you don't want to know how much I had to spend for the first glass. Man. However, it was great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That story was a great summary of how a son should take the torch of a father and just run further.
Run through
a wonderful story. Did we get into cigars and which kind of black and mild that you love or don't?
Black and mild. Black and mild. What are we in the hood?
Here's the thing. I'm going to be honest. I think we've had this conversation this past weekend with Alwyn. As fancy as I will get with a cigar, I don't think I'll ever turn down a black and mild. I'm just going to be 100.
Well,
you got to put a wood tip on it.
I'm going to be honest with you. That was the first cigar that I've ever smoked when I was driving trucks because I was trying to get off of cigarettes. But, you kind of used to smoking and stuff. So I started smoking black and mild. But I didn't grew up, so I didn't kind of got away from that.
Yeah. So the cigar game, like I picked this up from my dad. But Pops was the cigar guy. He started on them, and then I just kind of picked up from there. And when it comes to my cigars and the kind of I will go to a cigar place, and if there's a guy who's working in there, I'll be like, yo, what do you like? I went to Miami a couple of times, and there's a certain cigar lounge I like to go to. The guy kind of tips me off to a few, but Pops, I'm gonna hand it over to you, man, because this is your cup of tea, man. So tell the people what do you like?
I started back in Hurricane Rita when we were working in the plant and trapped in there. And a friend of mine smoked cigars and gave me and another friend one. And we smoked it and how relaxed we were and everything. So I kind of enjoyed it. So I was getting them from him. And it's these right here. There's no band or nothing because they're hand rolled in Miami and out of Cuban tobacco. And they're really smooth and mild. And I really like them. And that's what kind of I got started on these. Now,
that's still probably the best damn cigar I've ever had.
Matter of fact, I need to put an order in and get.
I think Aaron Hartman, who's watching, I think you've actually tried them. If not you, then I know Mike definitely has. Like we've definitely dipped our toe in those. But yeah, that's.
Can I send you a bunch of them? Yeah.
Yeah, I probably need to place another order here relatively soon.
But yeah, I need to put an order in. But look, I'm gonna turn you on the game now. I done got turned on to something, and now. I'm in the motorcycle club, the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club, and these brothers smoke from coast to coast. And they turned me on and taught me so much about cigar smoking and different brands. Because every time we go to an event, I got brothers that like, hey, man, here, I got this for you. You need to try this. And I'm like, okay, man, well, I got this for you. You need to try this. So you smoking them. And what they always told me was either take a picture of the band or save the band. So when you go to a cigar store, you're like, I know I like this one because he gave me this one. It was fine. So let me pull it up on my phone. Hey, you got this? Boom, there you go. You can get your cigars. But I've been turned on to so many different ones that I really like. Like this one here, this is a Victor Sinclair. It's a box press, which means it's pressed flat.
Yeah.
But it's a big one. And a friend of mine turned me onto it. He said, when you got 2 hours, sit down and go light this up, because that's how long it'll take you to smoke it.
Jesus Christ. So let me ask you, because I've always kind of wondered this. I'm assuming the longer smoke, once they like take forever to smoke, they're just more compact, and I'm assuming there's just not a lot of flow.
I don't know if it has to do with the filler tobacco, or what, but it isn't the length of the cigar. Because I smoked longer cigars than this that burn faster than this, and it's not so compact that you can't get a draw on it. It just burns slow, you know. So you enjoy that. Now I stumbled up on this one. This is a Grand Habano vintage that somebody gave me one, and it's got the vintage on there. Somebody gave me one, and it's really smooth, and I really like them. So I ordered some of these. Now my all-time go-to favorite is Cohibas.
Yeah,
that's the first cigar I ever had was a Cohiba.
Right, because you know what the thing why these are so expensive? They're good tobacco, and they're either out of Nicaragua or whatever, but they are always been told, yeah, that's Cuban. That's the closest you're going to get to a Cuban cigar. So they were kind of like, Cuban cigars are forbidden fruit. You know, if you can get a hold of one, it's like, ooh, I got a Cuban. But these were the closest things to them. So they raised the price up on these outrageously. But and I don't know if I can type a message on this since I'm on Zoom, or you'll have to do it. But it's called cigarbid.com, www.cigarbid.com. And it works like eBay. You'll type in a brand and say Cohiba cigars. They'll show you all these different brands of Cohibas, and they'll either selling 1 cigar, 5 cigars, 10 cigars, or 20 cigars. And they'll show you he's got 5 days left on it, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. But let me show you something. See this cigar right here? I just sent Juan a pack of 10 of them. These are Cohiba, the Madagascars, but they're a good Cohiba cigar. But I just won 10 of them off of Cigar Bid. And they're not hard to win, because when they show the person selling, he's got 10 lots of 10 that he's selling. So 10 people are going to win them that bid on them.
Yeah.
They show you the retail price on 10 of these was $280. With tax and shipping, $51.
Yeah, that's a steal.
Cigar Bid is off the chain. The same thing. I got 20 of these for $44.
Yeah. So let me tell you, like when I went to Miami,
of these, $35, $33. These cigars, and they show you the retail price on them. They're like 7, 8, 10. These Cohibas are $28 a piece. I paid $4.50 a piece for them.
Here's how legit this website is. Carl took the time to say www.
Yeah, I'm old school.
Honestly, I think I remember the first time I smoked a cigar was the same night the first time I smoked a hookah. It was a Cohiba with my cousin at my uncle's place. It was just him and I. He had a whiskey. I think we were like, I don't know, maybe 19. Cohibas are legit. I'm not a cigar smoker, but they are legit.
They are a mild cigar to where if I went into a cigar store, like when I came to Austin and I'm looking for a cigar, I always tell the clerk, give me something mild like a Cohiba. And that's what they'll turn you on to. They'll find something mild.
I do have one question. Because I remember trying it and I liked it a while ago. Romeo and Julieta. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a good cigar. That was some of the first ones I started smoking because they're a popular brand. Yeah. But I have found cigars smoother than Romeo and Julieta.
Okay.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna turn you on the game. I'm fixing to turn y'all on to something that's gonna turn your game up. That's gonna take any cigar.
Yeah.
Any cigar.
Yeah.
And make it a smooth, nice tasting cigar. You don't get like fruity flavors or all of that, but you got a smooth cigar. And it's called Infusing. This right here, these are nubs. I love these nubs. You can get them off of there, the same thing. You can get 10 or 20 of them dirt cheap. off of
and for those
cigarbid.com.
for the uninitiated, nubs are your tiny ones.
Right,
your shorter guys.
Tiny, and that's the brand. It's called Nubs, and they make different ones. Camerons, Connecticut's, but they're a smooth, nice burning cigar. But what I'm doing here, because I have the Nubs, I have my Sinclairs, and the Gran Torinos, and I already have some. My humidor is down here. You can't see my humidor. My better half bought me a $350 electric humidor that holds 250 cigars. That's how serious I am. Juan can tell you, when I get into something, I get into it.
He goes head first.
These are soaking in. These are infusing with Royal Crown apple. These are infusing with Dose Cognac. These with Jack Daniel's honey. Now, what you do, if anybody's ever thinking about doing this, is very simple. You go over to Hobby Lobby, get you a tall mason jar and some marbles. Pour your one shot of liquor in the bottom. Put your marbles in there. You put your marbles in there so your cigars don't sit in the liquor. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So your marbles don't sit in the liquor, and you date it at the top. You write the name of what liquor you got in there, and you put the date that you put them in here, and you leave it in here for a month. Then you take them out and let them sit for a week or 2 weeks in your humidor. Oh, them things would be so smooth. You
what is that doing? What's it doing?
It takes that cognac. Cigars have to have moisture, or they'll dry out and start breaking up.
Yes.
That's why you got them in a humidor. This is infusing itself with the cognac. You can take a bad crap cigar, go buy you a White Owl out the store or whatever. You infuse it, it's going to be a nice smoking, nice mellow tasting cigar.
That's fire.
You know.
Yeah, that's fire.
What's the only way to go?
What's the deal with dipping a cigar in liquor? Or
yeah, you know what? All you're doing is moistening up the end to stick in your mouth.
Okay.
That's, that
it'll add flavor to it, but the way he's doing it, when you infuse it that way, it's the way to keep it dry and still do the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll find some guys that are like dip the tip in wine or some shit.
Right. Now this honey and this apple, I'm expecting to have a little honey and apple flavor to it. Cognac, I've done them in bourbon. I've done it in cognac. You can't really taste that's bourbon. That's cognac. You can't really taste that. It's just a milder, smoother cigar.
See, what you need to get you now, you need to do one of them things with that. I think Crown Royal has that peach.
And apple. And
ain't nothing but another mason jar and some marbles.
Mason jar, marbles in a month. And you said
exactly. So they got them all over the place.
It reminded me of something I wanted to talk about, right? So that cheap Dickel whiskey you got sitting back there, right?
Yeah.
So this is a little trick, right? If you take that whiskey and you go buy yourself one of those like Brita filters, pour that whiskey in that Brita filter. The more times you run it through that filter, you will turn that crappy whiskey into a hit, a banger. Because that's the real difference is it was poorly made and they didn't filter it that often. So it's probably burnt. When you sip it now, it's probably hot and just tastes like ass.
Yeah.
So you filter it. Just take that bottle of whiskey, pour it through that thing, let it run through the filter, pour it out, pour it back in, let that thing run through as many times as you want. The more you run it through, the clearer it'll get.
I'll be on Amazon tonight.
Does it have like wood chips in it? Like, I mean, what do we?
No, it just, when you've had good or decent bourbon, when you taste that, I was really disappointed because I'm like, oh man, 8-year bourbon, this is going to be smooth as glass. I tasted it. I was like, "Oh man, that's
ass,
terrible.
pure
that's
ass,
like shit."
Just ass, just
I'm
like it.
And I hate it because there's a store near my job where sometimes I'll buy some, and the girl that I talked to who works there, she's really into bourbons. So she was like, "Oh, I gotta try this. I gotta try that," and I forgot that was the nasty one that I bought. I ended up buying another bottle, and I got home and like, oh shit! Now I got 2 bottles of this.
That's where you pawn it off. That's where you go to.
Or so this is something, right? So this is something, Pops, when you come down, I'll teach you this. So I started getting into like making drinks and shit. So started learning how to make an old fashioned.
Yeah.
That would be perfect old fashioned whiskey because you're gonna add stuff to it to kind of mix it up.
Highball.
Right? Highball.
Yeah, highball.
So I'll tip you to that, man. When you come down, I'll get you on that.
I call myself I love mojitos. And I call myself trying.
I know how to make an official mojito, so look, I got you.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm picky about them because I try them everywhere I go. If they got a bar, like, you know how to make one. So I said, you know what? Friday night, I'm gonna make me a mojito, man. I went and got all the stuff and I made it tasted like gasoline.
So let me ask you this question.
What the hell?
Let me ask you this question: when you made your mojito, did you muddle your mint in your glass?
Yeah.
There was your first mistake. That's exactly where you messed up. Yeah. I can tell you now. So here's the thing. So I went to San Juan. What's that?
Aren't you supposed to have mint in there?
You are, but you aren't supposed to, you should not muddle it.
What does that mean?
So when you muddle
something, take that little
hammer.
You should have
right?
Up and,
exactly.
So when we went to San Juan and we went to the Bacardi factory, right? We went to the Bacardi's main distillery. We went through a mixology class and they showed us how to make a mojito. And the guy told us right off bat, he's like, the number one biggest mistake people do when they make their mojito is they will muddle the mint in with all of their other shit. He's like, the problem when you do that, when you muddle the mint by itself has the oils that they excrete. When you muddle it, you're actually getting too much mint. And then the plant itself will start thinking it's under attack and release a bitter. So then your drink does not come out great because it is natural defense is to turn that sweet mint flavor into a disgusting mint flavor, right?
I like how plants like alternative is like, oh, I'm going out, we're all going out. Fuck it.
We're all going out together.
That damn mint was acting like that anti-acid commercial. It was whooping my
beating you up, is trying to eat the slices, slapping you in your face. So the key is you do everything else. Yeah. You take that mint, and the way he showed is like you can give it a slap to just activate it, and then you drop it into your drink, and then you stir it, but you don't muddle it up.
I'll wait until I get there and let you fix it. But
I got you.
Just so all you the viewers know, and DeBill, because I want him to come over as well when we get there in May, that for one of my gifts for Juan, for his housewarming gift, not only did I give him the little the Juan tea back there in the background, but I have a bottle of German Ansbach cognac that I've had since the year 2000. They was brought to me from my brother, who was the last one of my brothers. All three of us been to Germany, but he was the last one there. And he asked if we wanted to bring something back. And I said, bring me back a bottle of Ansbach cognac. So he brought it back. I wrote the date and everything on the bottle and put it in the cabinet. And it's been sitting there in the box since 2000, waiting on my son to get married. And I was going to give it to him then. It ain't happening. So he got a house. So I said, well, you're married to the house. So I'm going to bring it with us.
Do you have to is it like wine where you have to tilt it and blah, blah, blah?
Well, you know what? Somebody had kind of mentioned that. So every once in a while when I think about it, I'll go turn the bottle upside down and then I'll go turn it back the other way. But I don't think you have to, because I think liquor, just like in a barrel, it just ages, because I hope so anyway, because I also have a bottle of 18-year-old Scotch from Scotland that a friend of mine brought me back, that's been in there since 2013, that I'm waiting for my retirement. Ain't nobody getting that Scotch. I'm a Scotch drinker as well. So nobody's getting that Scotch. I love Scotch. Scotch. I love Scotch.
Yeah, I got to get into the Scotches, man. Yeah. So listen, we've been running this show now 2 hours, man. Pops, cannot thank you enough for joining us on this show.
Love it, man.
Show was ahead.
Love it.
Again, those who are still kicking it with us, this is Carl's Custom Creations, the man himself, my dad, my example of gentlemanliness.
Example, really.
Him. Look, all them cups. Look at them banging cups. Look at them cups. You can get your cup. Terrible towel. I got a Pittsburgh fan who will love that cup.
I'm doing this for a Pittsburgh fan now. That's all their Super Bowl trophies.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I might get with you I might pay you to make another one of those for him, because I know he not watching at all, but he'd fucking love the shit out of that. Thank you. I can't thank you enough, man. You've definitely added some gentleman flair to this episode today. And too sweet it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, Pops.
You guys were on point with this show. I have to give it to you. It was on point. That. You were all hitting the right nails on the head with your statements and your comments on becoming gentlemen and men. And I've been knowing you both for a long time. I consider both of you my boys and watch y'all grow in the fine men, you know, and you're doing well, and keep up the good work. And I pray for the best for you. And I don't want to seem out of place right now, but it dawned on me yesterday when I got the text message from Juan that his grandfather's not doing well. So I ask all of you listening, when you have the time, to just take a moment and say a prayer for him. He was a great man. He was a good man. Well, still is a good man. And he could use your prayers right now. So
I appreciate that, man. He's 90. He's going through some things, but you know, man has done a hell of a job, man.
He is what this show was about. He is a manly man, if I ever known a man. That dude was in his late 70s, cut his whole floor out in his house to change the seals.
I think he was in his 80s, man. I think that man was in his 80s.
Yeah.
I remember going to the house.
Wouldn't let me help him. I asked him.
Wouldn't let anybody help, bro. Wouldn't let anybody help. Nope. The man ripped out his entire floor of his house and was going to do that shit himself, was up on his roof. Like that man cut his own yard until he was like 88. Like out in that shit. Like it, it's impressive. But but keep him in his prayers. He's going through it. But you know, a living legend.
Appreciate you guys on this show. Thank you for letting me come in and do my thing.
Showcase.
and I appreciate it. And I will stay tuned to every show that I can make.
Please do, man. And Austin family, he'll be down here in May, and I'll text y'all guys to meet up with the guy, the living legend, because it's going to be a ball. We'll have some drinks.
Legend, yeah.
The myth, the legend.
The first talking about,
What you talking about?
All right, fellas. Appreciate it. Nabil, what do you want to leave? What do you want to leave the people with, man?
So I'm gonna first say this. That my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family, your grandfather. I am not a religious person, but in times like these, I'm quick to find God. It's comforting. It's comforting. It really is. And maybe we'll have an episode on that. Yeah. Second part, Pops. It's hard for me to call you Carl. You're Pops to me. Like that's just how I see you. You're Pops. And honestly, I love you. You're like one of my favorite people. From the first time I met you, I couldn't get enough of your stories. And then whenever we go out, I love having Juan tell your stories to people because it's so like I cherish them so much. And some of it just comes from you as a person, like just your exuberance and your composure, even within the stories that you tell. They're wonderful. I love to this day the gas leak story when you worked in Louisiana.
That chlorine leak, the one that had the PPG,
like the first time we hung out was at a hookah bar, and I remember like everything about it. Like the stories you told us. I can't share, but it's always amazing having you around, talking to you.
Thank you.
Your energy is always welcome, and it's warm.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I love you guys.
Love you to death.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, to everyone here, thank you. Right? There's no other word. Like it's almost become a dry word, but it means so much. That was a fun episode.
Pops, this is your moment, man. What do you want to tell the people?
What I want to leave y'all with is, look, life is short. Enjoy every moment you got. Okay. I mean, from when you step outside and see the sunrise till you see it go down. Enjoy it. It's short. Make the best of it. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your family. And no matter how hard the struggle may get, keep the faith, because he'll see you through. You may not think so, but you'd be surprised when you're going through something and you don't see your way out, and then all of a sudden you got a way out.
Amen.
Keep the faith.
100%. No, I appreciate that. And guys, we'll beat the dead horse here. This show would be nothing without y'all. The comments, the people chatting, everything. We thank you guys, man. Y'all bring us life to this show. When we hit the comment, we're not too sweeting the fans. We're not doing that. But guys, again, I greatly appreciate it. We're to give a little rundown. We changed up the lineup. So next week is actually going to be a blast. Top your friends, your family to kind of join in. We're doing our music episode. Music. Yeah. We're going to run down our top artists. We're going to go down top female artists. We're going to run down one-hit wonders. We're going to run down artists who just should never have been. We got a laundry list of musical talent that we're going to walk through next week. I'm excited about it. We're going to jam out. Y'all come join us. We might even sample some music. Who knows? We don't really know how this goes until it happens. So we're going to figure that out. But stay tuned next week, 8 p.m. You know the drill. I will leave you guys with this. Every person that you encounter in your life might not be worth your time, to be flat out honest. Some of them may be worth your time. But truth be told, every single person you encounter is worth figuring that out. Until we meet again, I'm your boy Juan T. That's Carl's Custom Creation. This is Big Body Rabody. We out. One love. See y'all next week.
Peace.